from West Hawk Lake. I live here with my 4 boys and my husband, and in the summer we farm, raise pigs, and in the winter we spend our time at the ski hill here in Falcon. And today I am going to show you how to make soap from home rendered lard. So the basis of when you're making soap is you have a line of water, you combine those, you have your oils and your fats, and you combine those. Once they get to a stable temperature, you combine them together. And after a lot of blending, you reach trace, and you can pour them into a mold like this, into a milk carton, anything lined with parchment paper, and this will then sit out. You'll insulate this, wrap this in towels, or put it in a cooler to keep it warm for 24 to 48 hours, at which time you will pull it out of the mold and it will be a giant block like this. Then this block needs to sit for another 24 hours just to finish curing. Once it's done curing, it is good to slice. Because you are dealing with a chemical that is caustic in nature, and as the process, as it cures, it becomes less and less caustic to the point where it's no longer caustic. But safety first, you should always wear gloves. If at any point you do get any of the soap on you, whether it be in liquid form or during this period, just wash it with lots and lots of water and, believe it or not, soap. I am using lard, which you can also use store-bought lard. You can get lard from your local butcher. There are recipes out there for tallow or other fats, or you can use totally different fats like coconut oil, jojoba, shea butters. There's so much out there, it depends on what you want to do. But there's a lot of safety precautions to take when you're making soap, so I'm just gonna get into making, and yeah. So with the stuff that I make, I try to use as many ingredients that I can from my own home or locally without having to order online or get from another store, just because of carbon footprint. I stay away from essential oils or fragrance oils for a variety of reasons, and I infuse my oils. So this batch that I'm going to make is a rosemary soap. So I've infused my olive oil with rosemary for 4 to 6 weeks, and that is rosemary that I grew in my garden. And then we'll actually add some rosemary. This is our home rendered lard from our pigs. And we've got a few other oils to add in here. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, and the water that we'll use to mix the lye with, I infused it with rosemary. So when you use an essential oil, you have concentrated the plant and you've taken its very essence from it, and that helps scent it, and it also adds certain medicinal properties to your soap. With me using it in an infused oil, using it raw, and steeping it in water, I am getting a lot of the similar medicinal properties, plus I'm using the whole plant, and I'm getting so much more from the plant than you would if you were to just use a tiny, tiny drop of essential oils. So, safety first, we will get started. Yeah, so this is the soap modifying. I guess that's the right term. This is where the oils and the lye and the water all make friends. You okay? Take the basket.
Okay. Crackers.
And you can measure out and slice to your size. Silicone is a great product to use for soap making because it's so versatile. It's so easy to clean. It helps keep your soap insulated and it's reusable. You can use silicone muffin trays, silicone baking sheets. You can buy specific silicone molds made for soap. I personally like silicone. Once your bars are all sliced, you want to grab a rack. Beer flats work really well. Milk crates, anything. You'll line up your bars. Make sure they have good airflow. And you let them sit out to cure for a minimum of 4 to 6 weeks. And during that curing process, your soap becomes soap and it becomes less caustic to the point where you can wash your body with it. Make sure your soap is away from small children and animals that can get into it. If your soap is on a paper bag surface or a surface that isn't porous, you want to make sure that you're turning it every other day, wherever you have it, if you have it stored. Let it air out. 4 to 6 weeks later, you will have your soap.